When we sit down at the computer and pull out our credit card number to buy something online, we're always a little bit aware of that possibility of fraud. Your bank account number has to be transferred from you to your bank to the merchant, but that process is actually pretty secure, and I'd like to tell you about how your data gets locked up tight and how my research supports that. When you were a kid, you might have experimented with codes where you could send a note to someone, but instead of the letter A, you write C, and instead of B, you write D. And then your friend who gets the message just has to move the letters 2 spaces back to decode the message. As long as you and your friend are the only two that know that 2 is the magic number, you can communicate privately. Or if the person can guess. So guessing is not what we want either. The grown-up version of that, instead of requiring one number, requires a long string of numbers. Now the good news is a long string of zeros and ones is good enough. So I spend my whole day with zeros and ones. And as long as there's enough of them, that's fine. We have long strings of numbers that have the properties we want. They have a lot of nice properties that get me excited about getting up in the morning and starting work, but I'm only going to tell you about one of them. I've got this example sequence at the top. Even a small one doesn't fit on the screen, so I had to wrap it around. If someone manages to intercept your message and they see, oh, it looks like 111 appears more often than other strings. It's actually not true, but that's a story for another day. But when 111 does appear, half the time it's followed by a 1 and half the time it's followed by a 0. That's a good thing. That makes it hard to guess because seeing 3 symbols doesn't give you information about the next symbol. So that's the kind of property, like I say, that gets me excited, and we like to see that in these sequences. The basic idea behind my research is that we have some of these sequences already. We want to use them as building blocks to create longer ones. So on the left, I showed an example of how using them as literal building blocks and stacking them up doesn't help because you're just repeating the same symbols over and over, very easy to guess. What we've done instead is come up with a new method, and this is where the bike lock comes in. What we do is we take an existing sequence that we know has the properties we want, we put it on those little circles, you know, that you twist with a bike lock, and so we've got multiple copies of it, we get a nice long sequence, and what I do is design the combination. So the numbers that appear on the top, enter that in, and if I design the right combination, the sequence we get out of it has those nice properties. So that's what I'm trying to do. Not just generate one combination, but have a way of generating multiple combinations, because part of the nature of security is you need to always be creating these new sequences. You don't want to reuse them, and you want to be able to do them very quickly so that we can do things more quickly on the internet. So I'm trying to find these combinations that'll lock your data up tight. Thank you.